this week's flag is Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland has been in the news recently because of Brexit. Brexit happened a long time ago. It seems like it happened a long time ago, but it's still an ongoing process. And what happened last week is that the Brexit trade deal for Northern Ireland, called the Northern Ireland Protocol, was renegotiated between the British government and the European Union, and they renegotiated a new deal called the Windsor Framework. The reason they had to do this is because Northern Ireland is a complex geographical location. It's part of the UK, so it means that you can travel from the UK, from Great Britain, to Northern Ireland freely without any showing your passport or anything. But because of the kind of troubled history and unstable political history of Ireland, there's also something called the Good Friday Agreement that allows you to travel freely within the island of Ireland. So you can go from Dublin to Belfast and don't necessarily need to do quite as many checks as if you were travelling from say Belfast to Paris or Berlin. When we were all in the EU, that wasn't a problem because we were all following exactly the same rules. The Republic of Ireland were following the same rules as the UK. But when we left, Northern Ireland had to stick to British rules because it's part of the UK. The Republic of Ireland had different sets of rules, so it meant trade between Northern Ireland and Ireland wasn't particularly smooth, and some goods couldn't come into the Republic quite as easily. So as a result of that, the UK had to create a kind of invisible border in the Irish Sea, which technically made Northern Ireland feel different to the rest of the UK, which it shouldn't because it's the same country. So as a result of that, they've created a new trade deal, and in this new trade deal, it creates a traffic light system. So if there's a good that goes from the Great Britain to Northern Ireland, and it stays in Northern Ireland, it goes through what they call a green lane, so it doesn't have to do many checks, doesn't have much border control. If it's a good that goes from the Great Britain to Northern Ireland, and then from Northern Ireland travels into the Republic and the EU, it goes through a red lane where it has to go through all the usual paperwork and Brexit paperwork of the red lane. That means it has to be checked because the EU has got some really strict rules about certain products like eggs, milk, etc. It's all very complicated, it's all very political, and it's still very messy to have two different sets of rules. But the Windsor Framework is a huge step towards a smoother Brexit for the northern part of the Irish island. Okay, so have a look in the news. You'll see a lot about Brexit. You'll see a lot about trade. You'll see a lot about borders. But all in all, I think it makes for a smoother life outside of the EU for the Northern Ireland itself.